everyone, welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Katie, and today I'm going to be talking about my fall TBR of possibilities. I have quite a few books that I'm interested in reading. I don't know if I'll get to them all, but I just thought I'd talk about it with you all. So I have some that I don't have physically, and then I have a couple on my physical shelves that I am very excited about. So let's go ahead and start talking about the books I want to read. So I do have 4 classics on my TBR, which never happens. I mean, I read classics, just not very often, so I have 4 on here that I'd like to read. So the first one is A Study in Scarlet by Arthur Conan Doyle. This is the first book in the Sherlock Holmes series, and I have never read a Sherlock Holmes. I know, right? I mean, I've seen multiple movie versions. I've seen a few different TV show versions. Why haven't I read the books? And I have heard that they're really good. I'm just kind of intimidated because they are classics, but I'm really excited to give it a go. So yeah, I will be reading the first book in the Sherlock Holmes series, and I know some friends here on YouTube that will be very excited about that. And then the next 2 books, I want to read some more Agatha Christie, since I've read a few and I have enjoyed them for the most part. So I'd like to read a couple more by her. So the first one I want to read is The Murder at the Vicarage, which is the first book in her Miss Marple series, which I'm really excited to kind of see what the hype is all about with Miss Marple. And yeah, I thought I would go ahead and start with the first book in the series. I didn't with what's his name? Hercule Poirot, but I will with Miss Marple. I do want to kind of start her books from the beginning and see where her character goes. So, yeah. Okay, and then the other Agatha Christie that I want to read is And Then There Were None. So, I watched the movie years and years and years ago, and I really remember enjoying it a lot. But thankfully, I do not remember the ending. So, I feel like I'm at a good point in my life where I don't remember the ending. Like, I remember the ending in Murder on the Orient Express, and it kind of ruined it for me a little bit. But I don't for this one, so I'm really happy. So I know there's murders going on, and I think there ends up being one person left or something. I can't remember. See, exactly. That's good. And then the next book that I want to read is Anne of Green Gables by Ellen Montgomery. And I honestly, in my lifetime, I cannot remember if I've actually read it or not. If I have read it, it probably was, I did read a graphic novel version, which I actually really enjoyed. I've seen the movies multiple times. If I've read this, it was only once. But I would love to read it again. And I have this beautiful, gorgeous Puffin and Bloom edition. I think I got this when Barnes & Noble was having a sale. Not sponsored. But I am just so excited because this cover was gorgeous, and I figured, you know what? If I'm going to read it, it's going to be read from a pretty copy, even though I'm probably going to listen to the audiobook for this. But I mean, I know how it goes, and I'm excited to get to it. I mean, it's a chunky book, but I mean, the writing is pretty big, so it shouldn't take me too long. And I do actually have the whole set. Yeah, I have the whole series back there. I don't know if you can see it or not, but I do have the whole series. So if I finish this one, I might go ahead and continue because I would like to read the whole series at some point. I think I've only read the first book if I have read the first book. Then I have a couple of cozy mysteries I'd like to get to. I'm really getting into cozy mysteries because, I don't know, it's just, honestly, they really are a palate cleanser as long as they're clean, because I know, honestly, some cozy mysteries are even unclean. But as long as they're clean, they're a really great palate cleanser between books, and they're just kind of an easy, no-brainer type of read. And so I have 3 on here. The Mission Impossible series by Rosie A. Point. I did read book 1 and 2. I think I gave both of them 3 stars, but I'm interested enough to keep going because there's a backstory where this girl is in hiding. She works for, I think she works for one of the agencies, like CIA or MI6? Could be MI6. But she's in hiding from her ex-husband, I think. Boyfriend? Husband? Forgot that already. But he ends up being a double agent, so she needs to go into hiding. So I'm kind of interested to see if he finds her or what's going on. So each book is a different murder mystery that takes place at her grandmother's inn. So kind of interesting seeing her being involved with the cops and stuff, even though she's supposed to be in hiding. So I am liking it, and I'm interested to see where it goes from there. So I do have the entire rest of the series on this list. I think there's 3 more or 4 more, because I think there's a total of 6 books. So we'll see if I get all of them read. It's okay if I don't. I would like to get to 2 more books in the Dog Days of Summer. I think that's what is it. No, that's one of the books. Oh, I just read the title of the book, not the title of the series. I don't remember the title of the series, but it's dual authored by Janice Thompson and Kathleen Ibarbo. And so I've read the first book, which was called Off the Chain. I loved it. It was so cute. It was one of the cutest books I ever read. It was funny, it was sweet, and I loved the mystery aspect of it. It was great. So I'm going to pick up Dog Days of Summer by Kathleen Ibarbo, which is the second book, and the third book, which is Barking Up the Wrong Tree by Janice Thompson. So I will be picking up book 2 and 3 of that series, and I can't wait to continue it. It's going to be fun. This is one that I'm going to have to be in the mood for, okay? This is a secular thriller, not quite horror, because I don't think he's that scary. But I read last year, or the year before, I read Josh Malerman's Bird Box and the sequel Mallory, and I really liked both of them. I think I gave both of them between 3.5 and 4 stars. So I really liked both of them. There was minimal language in it, and I don't know, it was a great time. Very, very intense, thrilling, fun ride. I really liked them. So there's another book by him that one of my friends on YouTube talked about, and it's called Unbury Carol, and it's really an interesting plot, and I'm just like, I need to pick it up. So I really wasn't planning on picking up any of his other books, but this one just sounded so interesting. So this is about a girl, of course named Carol probably, but she has this this situation where all of a sudden she'll go into a coma. It can be at a wedding. She could just pass out into a coma and be pretty much dead-like. Well, something happens where she is, I don't know if she's at a funeral. I think she is at a funeral, and she ends up, I don't know where she is. She's someplace publicly, but she ends up going into a coma, and her husband, I think, is thinking like, maybe this is the way he can get rid of her. So it's kind of like a mystery thriller type thing. Like, will she survive this poor situation where she ends up going into a coma at the drop of a hat? And so I'm really interested to see where it goes, and I'm hoping it's clean, or mostly clean like his other books were. So I'm very excited to read that one. I am very excited. All right, so then I have a couple other ones that I actually own physically. So yeah, I do have a couple, but I mean, let's peruse the shelves together and see what we can find, because I do have some books on my bookshelves that I feel like, what am I in the mood for this fall? I have a book cart behind the camera. Fall to me, I read a lot of, well, I do plan on reading a ton of series this fall, but fall to me, when I'm in the mood, I like to read thrillers. I like to read some classics, but they're more like mystery classics or middle grade classics. And I also like cozy mystery feels. Oh, and historical fiction. So any of those would work. But I do have a couple. Okay, so I found a few books on my bookshelves that I feel like are very fall themed and things that I think will be great for fall. So the first one is Squashed by Joan Bauer. This was on my list for last fall and I never got to it. But I mean, it looks fall. It's fall. It's fall in a book. I mean, it's fall. She is growing a giant pumpkin, which could be the next champion of the Rock River Pumpkin Weigh-In. And she's also a girl who's kind of wanting to lose a little bit of weight as well, and to have the courage to approach this new boy in town named Wes. And so I'm just very excited because Joan Bauer is one of my absolute favorite authors, and I absolutely love her. I think it's going to be a great read. And then the next couple of books that I want to read are Lori Benton's Mountain Laurel and Shiloh. These are both historical fiction set in North Carolina, late 1700s, and it's about this man who, his father owns a plantation and he owns slaves as well. So he kind of is in that situation where he shouldn't be befriending the slaves, but he ends up befriending a sweet girl who she is very, very artistic, and so he's kind of wanting to encourage that in her. And I'm very interested to see how it goes and see where it'll continue. Will there be romance? I don't know. We'll have to see. But I'm very excited to get to both of these books. These have been very highly anticipated by me. I think just because they're over 400 pages each, I've kind of been intimidated by them. And they've been on my list for like over a year and a half now, so we need to read them, please. Okay, and then next I have a couple of Jamie Jo Wright's books. I love Jamie. She's so sweet. I love her so much. I love chatting with her. But so I have 2 of her books on my list, and so I have not read all of her books. I still have, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, I think 4 books I still need to read by her, something like that. And also her newest one too, The Lost Boys of something theater. Beaumont Theater, I think that's what it's called. But something like that. But it's coming in the mail. I'm waiting for it. So that will be another book to add to this fall TBR. So, but I also have Haunting at Bonaventure Circus, which this cover alone kind of gives me that fall feeling. I don't know. It just does. I mean, technically circuses kind of go through the summer, but just this cover kind of has the fall colors, the red and the creams. I think it looks fall. So this is 1928 and decades later, which is probably nowadays. But it's all about the Bonaventure Circus. And I don't really like to go into these books knowing too much into her books because, I mean, I don't want to spoil anything. It's just, they're very suspenseful reads that I just really enjoy. They're a lot of fun. And then the other one that I plan on reading is The House on Foster Hill. I did not think I owned this one. I for some reason, I thought I missed not owning this one. I think I own them all. Maybe I do own them all. Because I thought I was missing one, but maybe I'm not because I thought this was the one I was missing. But apparently I own it. So I think this is the only one my dad has actually read. I think so. I think he's read the House on Foster Hill. So he probably won't remember if I talk about it with him. But yeah, so very, very excited to read it. I just realized, wow, she looks completely different nowadays. I don't know if you can see her picture or not there, but like, yeah, she looks completely different nowadays from that picture of her. All right, so, and then the last 2 that I have, I would love to read more books by this author because I love her books, and that is Joanna Davidson Politano, which the book that I read, The Lost Melody, it gave me very much fall, gothic mystery, gothic literature writing. It gave me all the feels for like a dark, stormy night, and I love that. So I'll be picking up A Midnight Dance that is set in a theater, has to do with ballet, and The Ghost of Craven Street Theater. So that's gonna be so good. And then I also have Lady Jane Disappears by Joanna, which I'm very excited to read this one too. This is actually probably one of my favorite covers of hers. When I saw it, it's so cool how they made Lady Jane stand out, but then Disappears kind of was like that misty lettering. It's really cool. So I'm very excited to read this one, and I don't want to know anything about this one. It's just, I'll read the blurb on the top. It says, Lyndhurst Manor is a house built on secrets, and the arrival of Aurelie Harcourt might reveal them all. She's turning out to be one of my favorite authors, so yes, I'll be picking up that one as well. So those are all of like my possibilities for fall. I think I have a good mix of everything, really. I mean, I have historical fiction, I have thrillers, I have cozy mysteries, I have classics. Yeah, we got a lot. All we need is a middle grade. Well, I do have Anna Green Gables, but like, I mean, like a contemporary one. But let me know what you're excited to read this fall. Are you a mood reader? Because I'm starting to think that I am. Are you like a mood reader where like there's a certain genre or a certain type of book that you like to read during fall? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to chat with you. So I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you all in the next video.